It is Sunday, February 15th. It's 164 days to the National. I definitely don't have a retail problem. You can follow me at 15 Iowa on Instagram.
My name is Joe at JP3 Cards, Hobby Socials.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to say because I bought cards and then I sold cards, but then I opened cards. So like I'm in the hole, but I'm not in the hole. But I opened, sorry, let me say this because I pre ordered the WNBA Dick's Sporting Goods Blasters like 6 months ago, whatever it was. It was a couple months ago. And they finally came, and I bought more before they sold out. And I opened so much, and I think I'm kind of convinced that we're like going down the roller coaster of the WNBA, other people buying into it like crazy. Because looking at what they're doing to the product and then looking at how the cards are selling compared to last year with Caitlin Clark and this year, obviously, like I was talking to a few people this week, and I think we were saying that the draft class has more potential out of this set, but because it's not Caitlin Clark, it's not selling kind of as crazy as some were. And I mean, with the Dick's Sporting Goods Blasters, you get like the logo Prizm parallel or whatever, and apparently this year they have numbered versions. So there's Panini back at it again with the watered down product, and the I don't even know what to say because it's a lot of fun, but then you just see the value of what some of these are going for doesn't make sense. So I have never been more of a I'm gonna throw these in a box and forget about them than I am right now because I pulled a tons of stuff from the regular blasters to the Dick's Sporting Goods blasters, and if somebody from this draft class is incredible, which I mean a lot of them are already, but I'm saying like if they rise in stardom, I am good. I'm set. I've got like silvers of a couple people. I've got various blue whatever velocities. And the thing is, Joe, and I realize we're starting crazy today. The thing is, the hobby version isn't even out yet. So I've got all these, base rookie cards. I love the base rookie card. Don't get me wrong. But I've got so many things. And we don't even have hanger boxes. We don't have mega boxes. And we don't even have hobby. So once hobby hits, it's game over. Because then it's just going to be everything is out there. So I don't even know where I was going with this, but just the fact that like I opened way too much, and I think I'm at the point where I I've crossed into being content with my avenues of collecting again. There was a brief moment there in the past couple of weeks where I was kind of, you know, felt weird about it, but we're back. We're back in WNBA. We're back in National Women's Soccer League, and that's really it. Because let me tell you, Series One, the blasters stink. The hanger boxes better than the blasters, but still stink. Because that's the thing is, if it's not an auto or if it's not like a low numbered card, doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And that's the one thing that once you get past that, which I have again, I would again, it's one of those lines like, when they always say about Black Friday, they call it Black Friday because you're in the black for sales, and if you're in the red, it's not good, so you gotta get to the black or whatever. So I have that same thing with being content of where I'm at, and we just cross back over into the good side. So I'm enjoying what I'm having or what I'm collecting, and it's going to be hard because it's very niche. So, what a start, Joe. How's it going?
Yeah, no, it's good.
I said a lot of
So
nothing
to
there.
rewind, no, no, I mean, not at all.
There's a lot to
So,
unpack.
few things. So I know this because, we talk, of course, daily in a group chat at this point. Yeah, WNBA Prizm. We'll start there.
Great design, by the way.
I I obviously know that this is like a big deal in the past years. The logo, the Dick's Sporting Goods exclusive logo, blasters, huge deal, sold out right away. They obviously made more this year, which probably still not a lot in comparison to like some other products and stuff that they do.
Well, I was surprised at how
Um,
long they were on sale. I will say that.
yeah, we could probably get into like some market talk there. I it's it's a really weird time not to go too much on a tangent, but the hobby is obviously very like the market's very very strong, but there's some like indicators in the kind of outside world that suggest that money may be tight for people, or people are looking to place you know funds into all alternate means of investing. Stock market's turbulent as always, but it's been like sloping downward the last couple of months or so. So that being said, I think it's one of those things where like, because correct me if I'm wrong, but these were pretty much like sold out by the time it was time for them to like arrive last year. Is that right?
I don't know about last year because last year I opened up way too many select blasters, and by the time I had opened all of those, which was like a couple hours, I was just done with everything, and I just passed up on Prism blasters, just sitting there, hangers
Okay.
just sitting there. I just didn't care about Prism whatsoever. I don't even think I opened up a single pack of WNBA Prizm last year, even though I saw it all over the place. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I just bought a bunch of the singles that I needed, and it took a year to finally buy a Caitlin Clark card out of Prizm, or just I guess a Caitlin Clark card in general,
Right.
at least WNBA.
So this year, like, are they is the 101 finite still like how they kind of do with WWE, like the one year that they had finites in WWE and some other random products? The like the blasters had, or the retail exclusive was the finite, and that was like the big thing with like the Caitlin Clark, and I believe both of them, the gold being the gold vinyl, which came from Hobby, and then the black finite, both went to auction, and it was a big deal to see
Is
like
there a
which
black
one was
finite?
gonna. Yeah, Caitlin Clark has a finite,
Does she?
and that was the big deal because it was they were retail exclusive, and that was what was driving up like the
Oh yeah.
partially what was driving up like the retail.
Can I just say that realizing how big the 2024 checklist is for Prisms, like I just hate the fact that there's two one of ones and everything these days, and even more.
It's usually more.
That's the thing is there was two last year with the like you said, the black finite and the gold vinyl. That just is ridiculous. And there's two tens. There's two this. There's two 25s. There's it's
Now,
literally two
well,
of
now
everything. Wait a
in
minute.
football,
I know. I'm just saying, like, this is compared to 2023. Let me look at 2023. 2023 was a lot smaller of a checklist for WNBA Prism, and that was also before, you know, everything went crazy. And then let me go to 2022. This is actually insane to see side by side of the just the base checklist, not even the autographs. So it looks like the 2022 and 2023 are somewhat similar as far as length of the parallel list, and then 2024, it just obviously takes a turn, and it's insane. It doubles almost, and there's two
Yeah.
numbered to 220 or 299. There's two that are numbered to 199, 299. Like, it's just too much. And Panini, if you're listening, and we know you are, you need to chill. You just need to chill. And I know you're losing a lot of people because of the whole NBA and NFL thing, but can we just scale it back a little bit? And I know that's going to be a whole thing where it's like, well, now we can't print as many blasters, and that's the other thing, right? Is people's level of caring for this WNBA Prism is obviously a lot lower than it was last year, but they also printed more. So now you can pretty much go to any Target for the most part, as far as I'm concerned. I know there's probably some out there that it might be a different story depending on your location to a bigger city, but at least around here, you can go to any Target. They're gonna have the WNBA Prism to the point where I just passed it up because I'm like, well, I need to wait for hanger boxes to come out and mega boxes, and it's just too much, and they printed so much, and it lowers the value of the base rookies and the silvers, and at the same time, the big names are going to sell. So I don't even know what I'm saying there, but just the fact that this checklist is ridiculous, and I mean, obviously there's no checklist yet. Now that I'm realizing this, there's no checklist because normally they wait until the week before it's supposed to come out, which I don't even know. I don't know when it's supposed to come. Looking at Beckett's website right now, the release date was October 30th, 2025.
The original.
Yeah. And that's pretty crazy because those Costco boxes or whatever they were popping up around Christmas time, I want to say. And then, now we're getting blasters and stuff, but that's just.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks like
I don't know.
one of the big online retailers has WNBA Prizm pre-sale delivery of March 13th. So it's still
That's
like a month,
that's
almost a month.
wild. That's wild. And retail, like, I do like that, and I do like the idea that it gives you a taste. You go to the store, maybe you're picking up some apples, maybe some bananas, maybe a little lettuce. I don't know what you're eating, and you walk past the card aisle because, hey, let's see what's there. Especially if you're at a Target. I can't really say much about Walmart because the Walmarts are different depending on who's working, I guess you can say, because I've had some Walmarts that are very strict about how many you buy, and then some Walmarts that don't get a lot, that you can just buy all of it. But Target seems to be the consistent, you can only get two, and the machine is set to only let you do two. You'd have to, do multiple transactions or whatever. But it kind of is, oh, okay, let's open some WNBA Prizm and see what it's like. And you open it, and then, hey, maybe you have enough money to buy a hobby box whenever that comes out. But it's like, oh, wait, hobby's not out yet. All right, let's go buy some singles. Let's go buy some rookies and silvers and this and that. Let's try to get them graded and like get a 10 before the hobby comes out, and it goes even crazier. And it's just, I don't even know. I know the demand is increasing with a lot of the stuff, but the printing is too much. Too much.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to, and we touched on it real brief in a past episode about just junk parallels, but you need the parallels to be able to fulfill your print run. We know why. It just, we know what it takes to make all this happen, but it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, I just don't know, like, long term, how many people are going to care about, you know, so many of these cards. That's one thing that, of concern, I would say.
And then
The only cards that seem to like that are higher numbered, I would say, that seem to matter is if it's like a color match or somebody, just like
Jersey
true
number.
colors. Even Tops is guilty of this. Now we have like all these like geometric, which I know geometric, some people, are about them. And I do think they are cool designs. It's just that like, it's like, okay, for every like true color, then you have like these mix of like geo colors.
I was gonna say,
And
don't
it's
even get
just
me
like,
started with Chrome.
it's just too much.
The
Um,
the
yeah.
the problem is though, I mean, yeah, again, this is still early. It's just the retail stuff. I had a bunch of print problems with some of my cards. I know Sean Motor City Marks, he had a bunch of print problems. He had the fronts of cards that didn't match the back of the cards, and it's just insane. And then mine, the centering was just terrible, and I don't understand how. And I get it, they print so many of this, so it's going to be a problem. But I don't understand why, how that happens. Like
Yeah.
I get the whole printing process and the trimming and the cutting. I get how it works. But I mean, does nobody quality control each batch? Or yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know how that would happen. And again, I get it in other, card spectrums or other outlets or whatever. People really like the misprints and the miscuts and the issues and stuff. But I'll tell you what, nobody's gonna buy a Paige Becker's base Prizm rookie or whatever I got, the cracked ice. No one's gonna buy that because it's just not centered, and it's obviously you see at the beginning of the next card, and that's just not gonna be worth anything because I mean it might be worth something, but it's not gonna be worth what it should be, or even more if it is some special misprint or whatever. So anyway, that's I mean, I can go on another half an hour about that, but I don't know. I just think that's it's just I'm just in a cycle that I have never been able to break. That's basically where I'm at.
Talk to us a little bit more about Series 1.
I mean, let me tell you about these
I haven't ripped
blasters.
anything, so I live kind of vicariously through you guys and your retail journey, retail rips.
I'm gonna say, if you're somebody like me who just likes to get into the baseball, it's February and you're trying to get a little fired up for baseball, even though your team's probably gonna be poopy and bad, and you want spring coming around, so you're like, all right, let's get into the mood. Top Series 1 just released. Let's see what the new design looks like in person. If that's what you're going for, Blaster's fine. Get a couple hangers. They should be priced the same at every store, whether it be like a Meyer that is normally higher priced. It's the same price for Top Series 1, thankfully. So my thing is, the blasters aren't what they used to be. And to me, I was always like a big blaster box guy. They just looked nice, and you could reuse them to put cards in for after the fact if you don't want to sort them into a box or whatever. But the blasters, and again, I get it that it's different depending on where you're at and how lucky you can get. But I just either have bad luck or I just get all base and inserts, which again is fine because I'm probably not going to open up any more. I went through, and I think I want to say like whatever the rookie checklist is. I don't know how many rookies there are in Top Series 1, but I'd like to think that I pretty much got at least one or two of every rookie. And that's the thing, is I love the base rookies, so to me it's fine. I can again throw them in a box, but I know that at the end of the day, unless I get those graded, they're not going to be worth anything. So it's just more so me enjoying it and having it, and if a player does well, boom, I got the card. Because at the end of the day, when Topps Chrome comes out, well, there goes the paper version, and then we'll do the song and dance all over again when you know, the next series comes out and this, that, and the other. But I honestly opened up a couple more like blasters today and like one hanger that I found, and the hangers seem to be the best for the price. And you kind of get the whatever they're called, like the diamante or whatever the parallel is. I really like the look of that parallel, and honestly, for being something that's in a hanger box, which I like to think that they didn't print as many hanger boxes as they did blasters, which sounds crazy, but they also have like the packs as well. So I think for the three, if I saw hangers over blasters, or if I saw hangers and blasters, I'd probably go hangers just for the sake of that, that parallel, whatever, like the diamond looking thing that they have in there. But at this point, I have gone to good old eBay and I bought a gold number to 2026 of the two rookies that I want to collect. And then I've also bought the 1991 version of the on card autographs for those two rookies as well. So I am kind of done with Top Series 1. I had a good week. It was fun to, see the design and, that the little numbering, or not numbering, like the initials at the top, just not centered, but that's besides the point. It still bothers me, by the way, if anyone cares. It still bothers me. Don't know why they did it. Probably will never know why they did it, but they did it. And now I'm just on to the next one. And that's really it. And now I'd say the only thing I'd be looking out for now is that Diamond Diamante hanger box parallel exclusive of those two rookies again. And to mention the rookies, it's Colson Montgomery and Kyle Teal on the White Sox. So they give me, they're like the two shining lights of the trash that is the White Sox. So Ross, friend of the show, if you're listening, that's why I like the Top Series 1 and opening baseball cards in February, because I don't care if the team's going to be bad. I care about the players and I want to watch them succeed. And those are my two guys this year. And I'm sure there's others that I can't think of at the moment, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I think, you know, you touched on a lot as far as like, just series one. I mean, right, they're making it kind of goes hand in hand with anything else, right? Anything that's coming out, especially a base heavy product, there's more of it being made each year. We have the data to support this, pop reports, et cetera, et cetera. It's an exciting time. Just series one, like you touched on, it means typically means baseball is right around the corner. I know, like when I lived up north, that was always like a welcome time because you were coming out of the winter doldrums. Yeah, the weather's starting to get a little bit better. So it's always, that was always just kind of like a checkpoint in the calendar. As far as like big hits and stuff goes, I wish people would share more about like when they post a big hit. So a lot of people are good about it, but like whether it came from like retail, and if it came from retail, like what SKU was it? A hanger? Was it a blaster? Was it a retail box? Like mega? Like what was it? Right? And then it looks like a lot, and this is where Topps is a little bit, I would say, better than Panini overall. Is like it, hate it, whatever. Like Topps isn't shy about throwing in like anything that just about like they obviously have like hobby exclusive stuff, but just about anything that any of the big things that you could potentially pull, it could be pulled in retail. Which I mean, obviously with it's always been a lottery ticket, but now with how much more of everything is being printed, it's that much more, right? So I think overall, we talked about the design in a previous episode. I kind of like to see people get excited about baseball. I don't, I'm not, used to collect baseball. I don't anymore. Wouldn't mind picking up like one or two nice cards, but yeah, it's just a checkpoint in the calendar, like you said. Even if even if your team isn't going to be very good, it's a fun rip at a especially like a low price point. Even even if you don't get a lot, like you talked about, you've already got most of the rookies, at least one, if not two. So
I will say the one downside and the biggest negative out of all of this, because I think Topps was hanging on to this for a long time, but obviously now with the way that things are, which again, you would think that now that Topps is owned by Fanatics, this would only help the situation. The relics are player worn. It says player worn, and I realize that I'm asking a lot when I'm asking for game used, apparently. And I know that Panini isn't even player worn anymore. It's just from no specific team or year or player or sport or whatever. So it just is a little sad that, hey, you got a relic, but it's a 3XL, 4XL jersey that the player put on for 2 seconds and then they cut it up and put it into a card. And it just kind of sucks that that's, where we're at, because I did get a relic. And that's the other thing is with the blasters. The blasters used to have something. It used to have like a commemorative coin card or, a relic per thing or a fake patch or whatever. Now it just has nothing, just literally nothing. And I did happen to get a relic. I don't remember if the relic came from a blaster or a hanger, but I got a relic of Kyle Teal, who's on the White Sox, who I'm collecting. So it was cool to get that. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, it doesn't mean much because it's player worn. So I'm glad that I got it out of one of the boxes. But, how hard is it to get game used? Obviously, very, apparently. But that's something I wanted to mention as well. And honestly, I don't hate the idea of wrapping this up. Joe, is there anything as far as because WNBA Prizm and Series 1 Topps has been my week for the most part. So that was pretty much what I thought about all week. I will say I mentioned it earlier. I did buy 2 Parkside National Women's Soccer League hobby boxes. That was the most fun that I've had opening boxes in a long time. And it's just because there's so many different things and so many rookies.
is that it? Is that a new release?
No, it's from last year.
Last year's.
It was the
Okay.
volume 1 of 2025, but I went to my local card shop, as they say in the biz, and I had tons of boxes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna buy a couple, and I've been putting it out for a while, obviously, and it's just fun because the one box, so you're guaranteed 2 autos for $100, which to me is few and far between these days. And in one box I had 3, and then in both boxes I hit like a number to 10 card, like it was a numbered card number to 10, and then I hit a bunch of number to 100s, which I thought was cool. And obviously rookies and the different inserts, and honestly they do their inserts really, really well. And just being able to, and this is honestly why I like buying and opening cards, is because I get to then put a name to the face and the team to a player. And then when I'm watching it on TV, I can be like, oh, I remember that player. I pulled their rookie card, or I pulled their auto, or it gets you learning some names, and that was really helpful the past few years with WNBA, and it's the same with women's soccer as well. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because that was also a big part of my week. But I probably will get more because again, it's these days, where can you find a hobby box at that price that you get two autos and a bunch of numbered cards? It's really hard to, in some cases you can't even get that for that price. So I will mention this I wanted to mention that as well. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this is a pretty good place to wrap it up. This is basically my episode. So Joe, thank you for listening to me talk for half an hour. But yeah,
No, yeah, I think I if sometimes we get like kind of pessimist Mike. Sometimes we get middle of the road Mike, and then we get kind of like excited, passionate, still going to shoot on some things, still going to put some things down, but then we get really enthusiastic Mike, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We last episode or two we talked about kind of the roller coaster that is the Pico experience in the hobby, and right now we're like
we're
we're at a
about to do
hot
the big drop, because like the big drop is fun and it's good because like you get the most excitement out of it, honestly. And then it's pretty much you get to the top and they're like, oh, everyone put your hands up, which I never understood, because what if I don't want to put my hands up? What if your hands are like, what if like a NBA player where their hands are up and they hit like the top of like the roof or whatever? And it's just kind of like, that would be bad. But yeah, that's where we're at currently. We're at the top of the roller coaster, about to go to the first drop, and I'd say that drop is coming. I see the drop happening because again, I've deleted the eBay app at least 3 times this week. So that's besides the point. So anyway, well, on that note, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.